Hi, I'm Wilson Bickford. I'm a professional artist and art instructor. I'm also currently authoring a book, an acrylic instructional book for Northlight Books, which will be released in April of 2009. The title of that book will be Wildlife Landscapes You Can Paint Using Just 5 Colors. The purpose of this video is to show you some tips and techniques that I've learned along the way for various landscape elements and stumbling blocks that I find my students commonly have. Hopefully these techniques will shed some light on those problem areas for you. You more advanced painters are probably familiar with these techniques already, but I'm sure you beginners and intermediates will find these very helpful. For more information on my upcoming book, my classes, and my DVD, as well as artwork for sale, please visit www.wilsonbickford.com. Thank you. The focus of today's lesson is going to be clouds. I'm going to use some Alexander Magic White and one of the Alexander 2.5-inch background brushes, blender brushes. I'm going to put a basic sky in here, very basic to start out, just as a backdrop for the clouds. Like I said, I'm not too worried about the sky itself. I'm going to put a little bit of the Magic White medium on, which gives us a great degree of blendability. And then this is not going to be a painting per se, it's only going to be a technique for clouds. So I'm not going to do a completed painting here. But I just want to lubricate this canvas with a little bit of the Magic White. I'm not even going to do the whole canvas and bring it all the way down. Don't need to for the purpose of this demonstration. Once I have done that, I'm going to take some ultramarine blue on my palette, which will make a nice sky color. I just want a blue backdrop for the clouds. That's why I say I'm only setting this up as a backdrop for the cloud lesson. I'll take a little bit of ultramarine blue and I'm going to work that in across the top of the canvas. As I work down, I'm losing blue off the brush and I'm picking up more of the white base coat, which grades the value, which is ideal because usually the sky is lighter at the horizon, which is what we want to show perspective and show distance and depth on this flat canvas. So I'm going to work that down and just literally let that fade out. This is not the important part. What I want to show you are the clouds. This is a brand new brush, so I'm shedding some hairs here, so you'll see that I just flicked the extra bristles off the canvas. I want to get that dark enough blue so that it's really going to show the white of the clouds that I'm going to put in here. I'm going to do shadowed clouds today. A lot of people strictly stick with white clouds. A lot of times, yes, you see strictly white clouds, but a lot of times you see those shaded clouds and they have much more volume and depth if you put some shading into those. So that's why I wanted to show you this lesson. This is a thing that my students struggle with all the time. And once you understand it, it's not really a difficult issue to resolve. Using a fan brush, I'm going to start out with some white. I've got black and dioxazine purple here. I'm going to use a little bit of black to achieve a gray. And I'm going to put a little touch of that purple so I get kind of a purpley gray. A lot of times in my mind, when I look at clouds, in my eye at least, I see that they are kind of a purplish gray, not just a true gray. So I'm going to take a little bit of this color. And what I tell my students is get yourself started. I'm going to darken that down a little bit so it translates better to camera. I don't want to get it too dark. I'm not looking for a storm here, but get it dark enough so the value is going to show. There we go. And I tell my students, put a little bit of a shape on there to get yourself started. I'm thinking big, puffy, cumulus clouds. So you can draw it on there like that, literally. If I take the corner of the brush now and just stir it, I'm just doing little circular motions with my wrist and kind of roughly approximating that shape. I don't have to follow it exactly, but I just want to get an uneven silhouette on there. This is going to represent the shadows within the cloud. I'm going to come back and throw a highlight on there. But the important part of this is to fade the bottom out. Now I can use the same dirty fan brush and just do this. I'm using a much lighter touch, so I'm not depositing the dark paint off the brush. Or you can actually grab a clean 1-inch brush or any clean brush. We'll do the same thing if that's easier for you. I'm used to blending with dirty brushes, so a lot of times I just proceed with the dirty brush. But you want to fade those bottoms out. Notice how that softness on the bottom tends to anchor that cloud to the sky just like it should be. As you go lower towards the horizon, clouds tend to get smaller and stringier and more elongated. That has to do with linear perspective. Anything that's smaller or closer to the horizon appears smaller. So these are just kind of little scrubbing movements, not nearly as tall from top to bottom as the previous bigger cloud I put towards the top. Always put your bigger clouds towards the top, and then let them get progressively smaller as they go lower towards the horizon. Now down here, obviously, you're going to have a hill or trees or land of some sort to complete the composition. I'm not going to do that today. You would be putting your own elements in there. This is just to show you the clouds. But again, I go back and I soften that out a little bit, especially on the bottoms of those shapes. Now I've got a thinner can with mineral spirits in it sitting right here next to me. I'm going to swish that brush out really quickly and dry it off. I'm just rinsing the brush out with the excess paint, cleaning it off. So I'm starting with a clean brush. If I take a little bit of titanium white and a touch of yellow ochre, I will come back and highlight these with pure white eventually. But I find it's really nice to put a little bit of a warmish tone in there, whether it be an orange or a yellow. And then the white really stands out. It makes it look like there's sunlight hitting. I've got a loose bristle on that brush I'll extract. It makes it look like the sunlight is really warm and actually hitting the clouds. So using the same motion, I'm going to take the corner of the brush and I'm just going to flip these, do these little circular shapes. I'm just kind of flipping the corner of the brush. And you'll see I'm pulling that color down into the purple. You're going to pick up a lot of purple on the brush as you go, so keep wiping that off. You might reach a point where you've picked up enough dirt on the brush that you actually have to wash it and start fresh again. If that happens, so be it. It's the nature of the beast when you're working on a wet canvas. Sometimes I just reach down here on a paper towel and blot it off. But this will be a much warmer color as compared to the purple. So it'll kind of represent some of the warm glow of the sunlight shining on the tops of these clouds. The trick is to roll that together and blend the yellow and the purple tone together so there's not a hard edge there, so everything looks soft and rounded. That's where people go wrong. And if you've got enough depth and thickness here, maybe there's another little facet that comes out like that. If you can envision that, you just put another layer in on top of that. And like I say, I'm going to come back with some pure white and really intensify this just on the outer fringes. I'm not going to lose all of the yellow, but I want to add to it. See, that cloud is showing some pretty good form already. I am going to swish this brush out a little bit, wash it out, and I'll start fresh with more yellow and white because my brush was getting pretty well contaminated. You want to keep your colors pure. I'll put a little bit on the tops of these stringier clouds, the flatter ones that I put in. The trick is don't lose all the dark underneath. It's going to represent the shadow in the cloud. So I'm very careful not to bring it down too low. I want dark underneath that. And I'm going to scatter a little bit in through there. If I wash the brush one more time and take pure white, I want to really embellish the tops of these edges. The trick is to get a nice crisp white silhouette and then blend it into the yellow. And I'm laying the paint on fairly heavily there to keep it nice and bright and white. And there happens to be a little brush texture in there. If you don't like that, you can soften that and blend it out, but I don't mind a little texture in there myself personally. That is a judgment call. It's totally up to you. So as you can see, I've got some pretty three-dimensional clouds here. So I hope this helps you out and helps you avoid some of the pitfalls that I commonly see in my classes that students have trouble doing the clouds. Clouds are pretty easy to get a convincing cloud if you know the techniques and you apply them correctly. So thanks for tuning in, and I hope this lesson was valuable to you.